Live fitter and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi, team. I am Fitz Kohler, your very bossy fitness pro from fitzness.com. And welcome to the Fitzness Show. We've got a lot to talk about today. Today is a Q&A day. And I always appreciate when y'all send me your Qs because I've got a lot of A's. That's right. And if you're wondering what the hell Qs and A's are, get with the program. They are questions and answers. Those are the things I've been storing up for you and from you. And for everybody who sends me questions, thank you. I love the opportunity to solve your problems, to satisfy your curiosities. Makes me very happy. You can send them always on at Fitzness on Instagram. You can go to fitzness.com, submit questions. You can do it on the Hottie Body Fitzness Challenge page. If you're on Facebook, that's a great place to be. You can join me. It's a free group of awesome people where I guide and encourage and harass towards being fitter, and they all encourage and inspire and harass each other. And it's just really wonderful. So you should be a part of that. Folks, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click like wherever you're listening to the Fitzness Show. Subscribe. So every time I put out a show, you'll know about it. And then if you want to leave a review, go ahead. Even if you want to say things like, she's so bossy or she's so noisy. That's kind of who I am. So go for it. We're going to dive right into these questions because they're absolutely great. So I can't remember who asked. I think it might be Chrissy Lyons, but I could be totally wrong. But she asked, what's the deal with those vibration stations at the gym? So it's a machine where you can hold on to the handles and you stand on a platform and they vibrate aggressively. And you can change the level of vibration. Maybe they're vibrating at a low level or a very high level, but they're very intense. And folks are like, what the hell is that thing? And I totally get it. Part of me looks at it and I feel like they're the same goofy machines where they were going to shake your fat off in the 1950s, right? Where you stood there and they put a belt around your waist and then just jostled everybody to death. And they have all these funny commercials of these women trying to lose weight by just being shaken to death on these weird fitness contraptions. Obviously, that all was garbage. That was crap. I'm sure so many of them left with whiplash, sore backs. None of them left any lighter than they were. So the vibration machine, here's the deal. There's a lot of claims, and I bet some of it is justified. And one of the reasons that I have more faith in this machine is because it's been around for a very long time. I remember seeing the power plate, I guess, at a fitness conference 20 years ago. My gym has one, and boy, do I respect our owner, Joe Cerulli. He's a god in the fitness industry and such a wise man, and his staff is great. So we have a power plate there, and I've been on it. And so these are the claims. These are the promises that if you get on this machine, the fact that it is shaking you, which makes sense that it's throwing you off kilter. It's the same thing with balance training. Every time you have to adjust to an unstable surface, let's say you're standing on a Bosu or you're standing on a pillow or you're in a bounce house. Think about that where you're constantly having to adjust just to stand upright. Well, yeah, you are engaging a whole bunch of different muscles. And so for balance training, specifically, if you stand on a squishy surface, you're rarely just standing still. At that point, your feet are moving, your ankles are adjusting, your knees and your hips are adjusting, your core, your abdominal and your low back muscles are adjusting just to keep you upright. And so the vibration machines say that, hey, we're throwing you off balance. We're shaking you and you're having to adjust just to stand there. That alone is working many more muscles, triggering all those muscle fibers to get to work, right? They're putting more of your body in action. And so they're saying that helps you become fitter. And I can bite off on that because if you stand on a vibration machine and you do squats, well, they're no less of squats, right? You kind of have to do some exercise on a vibration machine. In fact, that's the goal there, is that you will be exercising on it, whether you're standing there and doing bicep curls or doing squats or lunging on and off that vibration plate, that it will throw your body into a stress response where it has to continuously adjust. So for that, I say, yay. It says it increases blood circulation. I can imagine that happening, right? We're standing on a platform that's vibrating. I could see it increase the amount of circulation of your blood. And so I don't have studies to back that up, but they claim they have studies to back that up. My response here is really off of my predictability as a fitness expert. Can I imagine this stuff working on our behalf? And I see, yeah, that's probably there too. Okie dokie. What else? Oh, they're saying that this vibration technology was developed by scientists in the second half of the 20th century as a way to reduce bone density loss and muscle atrophy in astronauts exposed to zero gravity conditions. So, well, those are a bunch of smart folks working on that. You get a bunch of exercise physiologists and rocket rocket scientists working together. You're probably going to come up with a pretty interesting solution. I know the folks at the University of Florida College of Health and Human Performance and our applied physiology and kinesiology department does a lot of work with NASA. I wonder if this study was done by some great gator throughout history. But yeah, I can imagine that working. They say gravity applies a constant load on the skeletal system, which causes bones to maintain well, yes. So gravity helps. Anytime you're standing up, anytime you're doing an impact activity, that is increasing bone density. So in an independent study of 116 women, the group using the power plate saw a 4.3% increase in lumbar, that's your back, your low back, bone mineral density, while the group that did not use the power plate lost 1.9% bone mineral density. So could it be good for your bone density? They say it is. They say it is. I'm a real fan of science. Like when the researchers come back and say, these are the results, I usually tend to believe them. I always have a little bit of skepticism behind that, but I'm not sure who paid for that study. But yeah, bone density, that could be a benefit. And then recovery. So this is very funny because the increased recovery time requires you maybe to sit on the power plate and have it vibrate, right? It's a little form of massage. You can sit on the machine and that vibration serves as a massage experience for your glutes and your hamstrings. If you want to lay face down and put your quads on the machine, it's just vibration, and vibration obviously feels good and increase your recovery time or decrease your recovery time. So yeah, here's the deal. If you have access to a vibration plate, I don't think they're going to do any harm. I do think there's inherent benefits with definitely the first topic I addressed with it tossing you off a little bit. So mind you, it's not going to toss you off balance like a roller coaster or a wonky treadmill would. But it will require you to adjust. And for that, why not get on the power plate or vibration machine? I'm not sure what all the brands are, and do your squats, do your lunges, do some push-ups there, give it a try. See if it feels good to you. I see absolutely no harm in using a vibration machine. Now, don't go back and do the thing, that crazy belt the folks were using in the 50s. But yeah, these guys, I'm really skeptical about a lot of stuff, which is, I think, how you benefit, because I'm never shoving garbage down your throat. There's actually, I wish I could, I wish I had them with me right now. Long ago, someone sent me these wonky shoes. Remember Skechers they were sued to death. I think Reebok was too. I could be wrong, but they had those shoes that put you up on your toes, and they claimed weight loss. Like, you will lose weight if you wear these shoes. And I just thought, well, that's preposterous, right? Or you will get better glutes. I think Kim Kardashian was one of their spokespersons. And of course, she just has this juicy booty. There's nothing about her footwear that is making her booty better, right? But they were saying, if you wear these shoes, your butt will get better and you'll lose weight, which was ridiculous. And then those companies sent me shoes as samples. And this is usually my deal with the press. If they send, or PR folks, if they send me products, if I like them and I find them of value to you, I'll tell you about it. I just say, okay, I just got a bag of these snacks and they're made out of chia seeds and I like them, right? But sometimes people send me products that are absolute crap, or I just don't like them for some reason. And I don't come on and say, hey, someone sent me this tool and I hate it. It's stupid. I'm not going to attack a small business owner or a PR person, ruin their career by trashing a product that has been sent to me. Now, mind you, if I pick one up out in the wild and I find that they're making outrageous claims, I'm happy to go to bat and trash them fully, letting you know to save your hard earned money. But, anyways, those shoes were sent to me. And I just thought, are you effing kidding me? This is garbage. This is not going to help anyone's butt or their metabolism. And so soon after I rejected these products, the lawsuits were filed, and I'm pretty sure I did speak up in some regard about it. But anyways, I have one of those shoes here that's just a stupid flip-flop that makes you stand on the ball of your foot, and it's ridiculous. So there are a bunch of garbage products. I don't think the Power Plate is a garbage product. I don't use it, right? I don't use it too much. I'll sometimes go stand on it out of just why not, but I prefer machines where I know there's a real direct cause and effect. This is my intention, and this machine will help me achieve the goal I'm trying to accomplish. But yeah, the Power Plate, I don't have any problem with it. So if you want to get on it and give it a go, why not? If you are suffering from bone loss and you think that might be of use to you, do a little more research. And if you find a convincing argument that tells you, yeah, it really is going to be a big boom to your bone density, we'll give it a go. Why not? Okie dokie. Tanya Prokopiak, she says, I've heard conflicting opinions on the matter. And as someone who's gearing up for another marathon and dopey training season, if you're a slower runner, mid to back of the pack, when it comes to long runs, what do you think is better? Maxing out your training runs at 3 hours or finishing all the mileage on the plan? She says her training long runs are always easy, so they can definitely take over 3 hours towards the end of the training block. Says she doesn't want to risk more injury by going long, but she wants to make sure she gets enough miles in to be properly trained. Well, I think you should do all the miles. I mean, the reality is if you're training for a marathon, the goal there is 26.2 miles. It's not 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is. The goal of a marathon is 26.2 miles, whether you are the fastest person or the slowest person. And really what you need to prepare your body for is to go that distance. If you're constantly cutting yourself off at 3 hours, which I'm guessing puts you at 15 miles, not going to cut it. Not going to prepare you to go the marathon distance. I mean, golly, I'm a mid to back of the packer. My only marathon I ever did, it was like a year after finishing chemo. I jumped into the Boston Marathon and I prepared. I'd never wanted to run a marathon before, but I thought, might as well give it a go because I was invited, right? It was a nice invite. And I thought, sure, what the heck? And so I didn't even do the 26.2 miles in my training, but you bet your butt I got to, I think 21 was my longest training run. And that suited me, but I was on a treadmill for over 4 hours. Crazy. The people in the gym kept coming by saying, what are you still doing here? And I'd say, I'm training for a Boston Marathon. And it was just too hot in Florida for me to go outside and risk heat exhaustion. So I put those long runs in there. But yeah, you got to do the miles. You got to do the miles because the miles are what matter. And if you really were going into some sort of running adventure where they expected you to keep moving for 3.5 hours, okay, well then 3 might be the perfect preparation for that. But you need to be properly prepared to go that full distance because if not, those final miles will become miserable or impossible. And know this, if you are training wisely, if you are doing the strength training right, if you are making your lower body and your core as powerful as possible, the human body is designed to go do these distances. And I know this because we see it happen all the time, right? Yesterday, there was London Marathon. Tens of thousands of people ran that marathon and they're fine, right? Most of them, I'm hoping all of them are fine. But yeah, lots of humans go the distance. Lots of humans go those distances for work, to escape wars, to find water. People are meant to move. So you don't have to fear injury over moving that much, over going that far. I think it's been proven repeatedly that humans can do these distances and, of course, go even further than that. But the things you can really do for injury protection or prevention, Tanya, are strength training aggressively every other day. Use my strength training for runners program. It is on the cover of fitzness.com. It is free. It takes 12 minutes to get through. You can make it more intense by adding weights. You can make it less intense until you get through the full workout. You can do it twice if you choose, but strength training is going to be a big factor in whether or not you get hurt going these distances. Stretching regularly, repeatedly, all the time is going to be a very big predictor on whether you do or do not end up in a whole heck of a lot of pain because you're doing not only a marathon, but the dopey, which is a 5K, 10K, half, and full. So yeah, I would definitely train for mileage. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of wonderful marathon training programs out there. Jeff Galloway is great on his program is great for those who like to run walk. There's Hal Higdon. There's a bunch. I kind of created my own when I was training for my marathon, but I utilize the good ideas from the marathon running experts. I mix those good ideas along with my fitness expertise to come up with a plan that really worked for me. But yeah, Tanya, train for miles. Get the miles done. Oh, and come on. Here's the thing. I know so many people, it's like, well, I committed to a marathon. I'm going to do it. What was your furthest mile? I've gotten up to 15. It just exasperates me. It exasperates me because you should have this real commitment to your marathon. If you have signed up for a marathon, and let's add on to that, maybe you've booked flights and rented cars and hotel rooms, put in the work, do what it takes. And if you get sick, figure it out. But don't fly across the country and you've only run 15 miles. Have a little more respect for the event and for yourself. All right. Now, mind you, saying that, I see a lot of people do piss poor training and they grit out the marathon. They can go the distance. But I mean, wouldn't it be nice if it were a wonderful experience? Wouldn't it be nice if it felt fun and you felt good? And maybe when you cross the finish line, you had enough energy to lift up your arms and smile and then go celebrate with friends. I think so. So do better. Not just you, Tanya, anybody. And everybody who's taking on an athletic competition of any sort, please give it the respect it deserves and put in the proper training. And we will be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback Series by Fitz offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and The Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit fitzness.com today. That's FITZNESS.com. Fitzness.com.
We're back. All right. Kelly Prevette says she sees lots of folks talking about zone 2 training. No matter how hard she tries, she jumps from 1 to 3 after a few minutes, even though she feels like she's dialed back. What are my tips for getting into and staying in zone 2 for a consistent, steady workout? I just ignore the people talking about zones. I just ignore that. I find it kind of annoying. So there's a few ways to check if you are in a proper training zone. That's right. You're in an aerobic training zone, which you can continue for an extended period of time. That's usually the place where you're burning lots of fat and calories. We like that. So there's a very rigid way to monitor yourself, which is your heart rate monitoring, right? So you take your pointer and middle finger on one hand and you hold it up to your neck or onto your wrist and you take your heart rate. And ideally, and to be in your target training zone, you do the math. You do 220 minus your age, and then you multiply that number by 65% and 80%. And ideally, your heart rate will be somewhere in between. So that's a simple way. I mean, it takes a little math, but that's a very simple way to know if you are in the target training zone. But I like to keep it even more simple, stupid. I don't need to talk about zone 1 or zone 2 or zone 3. Sometimes the lingo gets a little bit annoying, right? My favorite methods of management of myself when I exercise are perceived rate of exertion and the talk test. And so they're real simple, folks. You can do these or use them anywhere, anytime. So perceived rate of exertion. sitting down, if you're just sitting in your car or chair listening to me yammer, you're at a 1, right? A 10 would be you are running for your lives and you are running uphill. And there's a bear chasing you and you're running through a forest full of fire. And then on the other side, you know that there's some Al Qaeda with big machine guns and you have to get by them too. So that's a 10, right? So somewhere between a 1 and a 10 is where we're doing our exercise. Ideally, we really don't want to train at a 10. There's not a lot of great value in that for fitness benefits. Now, 5, if you're at a 5, that means, yeah, kind of working hard, kind of not hard. I'm getting the work done, right? I've got a little sweat going on. I can feel it, but I can talk forever. I feel just fine. When you get into the place where you are huffing and puffing and you're sweating a bit and you feel your body come alive and maybe you start to feel your muscles squeal a little bit, that is your target training zone, right? That's a 7. That might even be an 8. If you're in that place where you're huffing and puffing and you're sweating and you can feel your muscles saying, woo, here we are, yet you don't need to quit right away, that's your ideal training zone. That's the one that will put you in the best place to burn the most calories and burn the most fat because you will be able to keep going, right? So we want to be in that zone and stay there for 20 to 60 minutes. Now, that's a 5K. That's a Zumba fitness class. That is hitting the heavy bag. That is, I don't know, doing all sort of, what else? Dancing. If you want to go do swing dancing, you'll probably be in zone 7 or 8 while you dance. So perceived rate of exertion, you just saying, okay, this is not hard enough. I can do this without huffing and puffing. It's not hard enough. And then if you get to the place where you start hyperventilating, that means you're working too hard. Now, quite similarly, is the talk test. And the talk test, I think it's even more simple, and which is why I love it so much. So the talk test says that if you are exercising at a pace where you can have a rambling conversation, much like I am right now, without struggling, you are not working hard enough, right? So if you're just moseying along through the mall with your favorite person, you can blah, 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 blah. You're not achieving much as far as fitness benefits goes, right? You're doing what you could already do, and that's active. That's not vigorous exercise at all. If you are running from the bear and towards the fire and you can't scream, you're just hyperventilating so much, you're working too hard, right? So that huffing and puffing so you can't even squeal for help or can barely squeal for help, that's too hard. That's not what we want for our regular workouts. But if you get in that place where you are huffing and puffing and you're with your running mate or your cycling buddy and you can say, hey, this sucks, can't wait till it's over, then you're in the right place, right? You can get out some words, but not chitty chatty, and you're not hyperventilating. So that's level 7 to 8. That's the talk test. And all of it to me really puts you in a 7. We judge a lot of things from a scale to 1 to 10, right? Put yourself at a 7 and stay there. If you're looking for cardiovascular endurance, if you are looking for a lengthy workout, train at a 7. And so zone 2, who cares about zone 2? Thank you, Kelly. Sorry, I hope that was the answer you wanted, but it's the answer I gave. That's what you got. Okay, Chrissy Bergeron Lyons, she says, do you have a good run-walk formula for folks easing back into running? Just go with what feels right or something more structured? You know what? I'm a little willy-nilly. So I do run walk, but I'm very willy-nilly about it. I like starting with 30 seconds of running. And sometimes people say, well, I can definitely do more than that. Well, good. I'm glad you can, but let's start with 30 because when you're coming back from injury or a vacation or whatever your reason has been for not exercising, might as well ease back in because if you go too far, you're going to experience pain and suffering, perhaps delaying your next workout. And I don't want you to delay the next workout. I want you to leave this first workout feeling fabulous and ready to do it again, to show up tomorrow, lace up tomorrow, put your swim goggles tomorrow, whatever you're going to do. I want you to get back to it again as quickly as possible and feel great the whole time. And so maybe 30 seconds of running, 2 minutes of walking. You might even want to do 10 seconds of running, 1 minute of walking. So if you have that Galloway pedometer or you just have a little app on your phone, use that. If you like structure, use that and give yourself so much grace on your first effort back. So you definitely are going to walk out of there feeling like, I could have done way more than that. I only did so little because Fitz told me to, but I could have definitely done way more than that. So yeah, if you like the clock, use it. If you are committed to going easy, then use that timer for very short bursts of challenging exercise, of running, and longer bursts of walking. I am very willy-nilly, but I'm also like, fitness is who I am. It's what I do. I'm very in tune with my body. I'm very in tune with my heart rate. I know how to control my heart rate. And Kelly, I'm gonna follow up on your previous question is, yeah, in order to dial it back, deep breaths go a long way. Sure, you can bring back your pace, but then in through your nose, out through your mouth, force it. When I was kickboxing, and I was a competitive kickboxer, so I fought in the ring, and I believe I had 2-minute rounds of fighting, and then I'd have 1 minute of sitting in my corner with my coach giving me guidance. And the guidance is so valuable, right? So you're out there, you're in a brawl, and this person's trying to knock you out, and your trainer can see things clearly, right? Your coach has 20/20 vision at that point. He's seeing what you're doing great, what the other person's doing great, how you can improve. So you really want that expert insight. What was I doing right? Help me do better. So you go to your seat and you really want some content. And my trainer would say, nope, you just 3 ginormous deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And he would do them with me every time. And it really was helpful. He would stand in front of me and force me to breathe. And instantly my heart rate would come down. And instead of feeling frantic and feeling exhausted, I felt fresh. I felt like I was ready to go again. And that was such a valuable tactic he took with me. It was really great. So I want you to do that as well. If you find yourself just wound up or you've run uphill, of course, an incline can send your heart rate to the moon. 3 deep breaths, slow down your pace, walk if necessary, but in through your nose, out through your mouth. And Chrissy, back to you. That's why I'm willy-nilly about fitness, is because I can control myself in almost all situations. I am so good at managing my heart rate and my breath. And yeah, those skills come with practice, and it's something you all can have too. And I use those deep breathing techniques too when I'm irritated, right? Someone's ticking me off. I'm in through the nose, out through my mouth, controlling what I can, and not using my kickboxing skills in the real world, because that certainly would be a bad idea, right? Although striking people is fun. Just to be clear, if you've never punched somebody or kicked them in the head, holy cow, you're missing out. I think as an athlete, it was very rewarding. I enjoyed that. And it wasn't that I was trying to hurt the people. I never had any malice towards anyone I was training with. I enjoyed their company and I was grateful they would step into the ring with me. However, it's a very rewarding thing to put your foot on someone's face. So yeah, violence is bad unless they're a willing party and they think it's so fun, and then go for it. Go for it. Okay. Tom Zizek. He's got a great question. Tom's been hitting me with all sorts of goodies lately. So thank you. In fact, all the people who have asked questions during this show have asked questions during previous shows. And I don't know. They're becoming the teacher's pet. That's right. They're becoming the teacher's pet. And I love them. So Tom says, coffee or tea, which is better for your overall health? This is a great question because coffee and tea is kind of the thing, right? It's funny. I've spent my whole life not being, well, my mom wouldn't allow me to have coffee. So I didn't drink it. And I've just finally started to see the light on some coffee drinks, frozen coffee with a little bit of soy milk, or even hot coffee sometimes if I'm freezing at a race. But I was allowed to drink tea. And I love tea. And tea is actually such a gift to me because of the work I do. When my voice starts to disappear, it's actually not 100% today. So I apologize for that. I was announcing Mud Girl this weekend. But tea does help my voice rebound, and I like that a lot. But you're drinking coffee, and there's some things people are like, coffee will stain your teeth. That's true. Coffee can make your breath stink. Okay, but how close are you getting to those people? And maybe Maybe someone who's up in your face really likes coffee breath. So it's kind of like bakery breath, right? It could be a good thing. And the same thing goes for tea. And of course, tea, there's black tea and there's green tea. Coffee comes in caffeinated. Actually, they both come in decaffeinated versions. I choose the decaffeinated versions because, trust me, I don't need no caffeine, and caffeine makes me pee too much. And I already have a little teeny tiny bladder, and I just don't want to deal with that. So that's why I'm decaf. For everybody who wonders why I drink decaf Diet Coke, that's it. That's it. I just confessed to you. So I don't want to pee all day. That's it. I want to pee every few hours. That's my goal in life. And of course, I don't need any help in the energy department. Are you kidding me? Last thing I need. Okay, so we're going tit for tat, coffee and tea. And some of the benefits I knew, some of them I looked up because you got to do your research right. And so coffee has fiber. Did you know that you could get a gram-ish of fiber per glass of coffee, which you do not get in tea? So, and it's funny, again, I'm new to coffee, but all the runners drink all the coffee because runners apparently like to use the porta potties before they head out on their big runs. And so that's why coffee, it's apparently hot beverage situation plus fiber really gets your digestive system going. And so coffee wins the fiber award because that's a nicety. Now, you're not going to get your whole day's worth of fiber. You still need to have your whole grains and your beans and your fruits and your veggies. However, nice little perk of coffee, some fiber. Also, we've got polyphenols. They can lower your risk of developing chronic diseases. They call them rocket fuel for beneficial bacteria that make up your gut microbiome. So there are trillions of little microbes in your gut, and coffee has way more polyphenols than even green tea. And green tea has more than black tea. So when it comes to your gut health, coffee wins. Now, how surprising, because I actually would look at talk coffee and think that can't be good. It can't be good. But what do I know? Right? It seems as though it would be quite bad, but it's actually quite good for your gut. So for gut health, and for those of you who get a hard time about drinking your coffee, now you can go and say, well, Fitz did the research, and apparently it's really good for my gut, and it'll keep my digestive system going. And then it seems like it can improve your chances against cancer. So with 59 studies across 40 different cohorts that showed regular coffee drinkers had a 13% lower risk of developing cancer compared to seldom or never drinkers. Maybe that's why I got breast cancer. I don't think so, but whatever. Maybe I wouldn't have had breast cancer if I drank coffee. Who knows? But it says regular coffee drinking may offer some protection against prostate, liver, colorectal, endometrial, oral, and breast cancers. I guess I need to crank up my coffee consumption, right? I'm going to go with that decaf coffee. I'm hoping it has the same impact. All right. It looks like coffee is the winner chicken dinner when it comes to preventing diseases because it says due to the large concentration of chlorogenic acid and polyphenols in coffee, it has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. That's right. A study of more than 1 million people found that those who drank up to 4 cups of coffee daily had a 25% lower risk of developing diabetes compared to people who drank little or no coffee. Now, here's the deal. It does say coffee is highly beneficial for reducing the risk of diabetes, but I wonder if those people having coffee means they're not having soda with all the sugar, right? Like maybe they're limiting their calories elsewhere. I could be wrong. I mean, it might totally be coffee's fault for preventing type 2, but sometimes these are correlational experiences rather than causational. I do wonder if maybe just you always have a cup of coffee. Maybe you're not eating snacks and drinking sugary beverages. I don't know, but that's good news for coffee. Hey, listen, as a tea drinker, I'm starting to reconsider my obsession with tea. However, they do call tea balm for the soul. That's right. If you want to calm down, tea has way less caffeine than coffee. And decaf, of course, has way less than caffeinated. So you can have a nice, hot, warm tea, soothe you before you get to bed without having the repercussions of insomnia. And really, that's where tea wins because coffee, I don't know anyone who's ever mentioned, I have the tea jitters. I've got jitters from tea. You get jitters because you've drank too much coffee, right? You can't stay up at night because you've drank too much coffee. And so coffee, in fact, is what college students and professionals, midnight workers, midnight shift workers, they lean on coffee to keep them awake. And so my recommendation would be to drink the coffee in the morning and then switch to tea or switch to decaffeinated coffee or tea because sleep is so valuable. Oh my goodness. You've heard me say it before, but I love sleep. And without quality sleep, you're not going to exercise the way you should, or maybe even at all. If you're tired, you're less likely to make an effort with healthy food. You're less likely to think clearly. Everything in your world is going to suffer without quality sleep. So it's really important to me. And it should be important to you that you get quality rest. And to be honest with you, I don't even want caffeine in the middle of my day because I'm an expert napper. You should see me. I go from full throttle workout and loud music in my ears, and I'm all cracked up like Fitz gets. And then I can come straight home, lie on the swing in my backyard, and just take a 20-minute nap. Like I just can turn my body off. Zoop, I have an off switch, and off I go. So that's a nice skill to have it. If you're pumping your body full of caffeine all morning and afternoon, you may not be able to get that nap you need. All right, and last, I looked up the Annals of Internal Medicine. They had an association of sugar-sweetened, artificially sweetened, and unsweetened coffee consumption with all-cause and cause-specific mortality. What this story tells you is that moderate consumption of unsweetened and sugar-sweetened coffee was associated with lower risk of death. That's right. You're less likely to die if you drink coffee. So, folks, I am embarrassed that I have been rejecting coffee for so many years. In fact, I'm probably going to get on the phone with my mom and give her a little what for. Mom, were you trying to take me down? Mom, did you want me to have a stuck digestive system or, I don't know, all of the nice things? Did you want me to have type 2 diabetes, Mom? Because it sure looks like it because you have been depriving me of coffee. Yeah, coffee's good. Coffee is good. I never really thought I'd be out there publicly proclaiming the benefits, but coffee has some great benefits. Here's the thing. You should not go overboard with coffee, right? You should not be having 7 glasses of coffee a day. You should have one to a few glasses or cups of coffee, and then you drink lots and lots and lots and lots of water. Maybe you have some other 0 or low sugar beverages, but yeah, coffee, have it, enjoy it. Don't dump a whole bunch of sugar and whole milk in it, please, and whipped cream and syrup and cinnamon. I don't know, whatever kind of nonsense they put at the coffee place, which I'm not so good at. I'm new to the coffee places, so I don't have all the answers there, but I know there's a wrong way to do coffee. So if you're going to do coffee, make it black or use some stevia or use your favorite plant-based milk or at least a lower fat version of whole cow milk. And and be diverse with your beverage choices. But holy mackerel, coffee, you win, Tom. Now I'm going to tell you this. I will drink more coffee. I'm convinced. I'm going to try to have a cup a day, but I'm still going to have my tea because tea makes me happy. It tastes really good and it's good for my throat. It's one of those things I start my day, especially a race announcing day, with a hot tea. And I usually have some in the evening too. And it will change the way my voice sounds. I go from sounding a little gruff, sounding a little macho man to back on the womanly side of whatever, whatever my voice is supposed to sound like. I prefer my regular voice to the scratchy, wretched race announcing voice, but I always prefer race announcing. So I'll take the weird voice off and on to get to you. That's right, to get to you. And hey, listen, I haven't seen you in a while and I miss you. I miss you so much. If you haven't already done so, please go to fitzness.com and click on race announcing. There's There's a box where you can click and find my race announcing schedule. And wouldn't it be sweet if you got to surprise me at a start line somewhere? Where will I be? I'll be in Minnesota. I'll be in Illinois. I'll be in St. Louis. I'll be in Utah and Colorado and Fargo and California. I'll be in so many places, and all of those places would be better if we were together. So, and I'll be in New Jersey and Connecticut and Washington, D.C., and all sorts of places I can't even remember right now. Oh, and Michigan, that's right. I will be in so many places. So please come to see me. It means a lot. And maybe we have lunch or dinner before a race, or maybe we just have a hug and a little conversation on race day. But yeah, I do miss you, and it would mean a lot to me if you just show up. Just show up, damn it, and maybe bring me a decaf coffee. How about that? All right, folks. Thank you for listening, and thanks for sending the great questions. Keep them coming. If you haven't done so already, share this episode with a pal you think could hear it, and get to work. Mwah.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz. Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.